Welcome to the DB Show. On today's show podcast, I'm gonna talk about how they're making remake when they're using old material to make them new. Now, usually they make sequels. For example, Ghostbusters. They made a third one where Zool comes back. Now, in the fourth one, it has to do with some ice ghost. And which is it looks pretty good. And that's fair enough. You make sequels. Um but when it comes to remakes, that's where they have to stop doing. You see, Disney made the mistake and thought, oh, well, firstly, when they said, oh, we'll make a live action movie of certain movies, that's okay, except they changed the color of the character. They did it with most of the movies, and instead of having it about a different, like for example, The Little Mermaid, have a story about one of the other mermaids. They decide to change the character, change the color of the character, and have a black person play the Little Mermaid instead of having a white person as it's supposed to be played by. I have nothing against black people; they're lovely people. But the thing with Disney is, and one of the things, there's one word that needs to be gone, which is woke. But this podcast is about the making remakes, and which they shouldn't. There's been movies like Dune, for example. Now, if they had made a sequel to that, fair enough. But of course, no. The ones that want to make remakes of movies, they think, oh, we'll make our own and we'll just change the story slightly and all this. Oh, of course, it's different actors, all right, different actors, fair enough. But don't use old material to make it new. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, sometimes remakes of movies, story might be changed slightly. They're good. They're all right. Fair enough. But there's remakes that they make that are flop. Now, we've all seen the movie Wonka, which is supposed to be a prequel, right? And yet, the one that has his own chocolate company, they changed the color of him, um, which is supposed to be a white person who later on ends up helping Wonka, as we all seen the one with Gene Wilder in it, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It was a good movie, as we've all seen, very good movie. And the when I heard that they were making, or when we all heard that they were making a prequel of how Willy Wonka became big and successful, so well, fair enough. But the thing is, I watched it and it just seemed a bit. It just seemed to drag a bit. Um, Changing the color of the characters, which was wrong. Um, and it doesn't work. You see, they should have put the actor. There's an actor that looks exactly the same as Gene Wilder in the face. Right? They could have got that actor. I can't remember his name, but he looked very, very similar to Gene Wilder, and they could have got him playing Willy Wonka in the prequel. Instead, they got another actor who's in Dune, and all right, even though he did, it wasn't too bad of a job in playing Willy Wonka. I just think, and I'm sure a lot of people will probably agree with this, they should have got the actor that looked exactly like Gene Wilder, because it would have been a younger um, version of Gene Wilder, and it would have been fine. No changing the color of the characters, and it would have been good. But no, and the Oompa Loompas, um, which of course they end up working for Willy Wonka from the time I think from the time when he starts his business all the way along, or years later or something. Um, but I think that the movies they're making remakes of now are ridiculous. Like when they made a live action movie of Pinocchio, everything was right down to the last detail. Except the blue fairy, who's supposed to be white, was black. Yeah, as I was saying about Pinocchio, making a live action movie of Pinocchio, fair enough. As I said, it's down to everything was right, except for the blue fairy, who was black, supposed to be played by a white person, um, and the ending, um, when Geppetto and Pinocchio get back home, um, the blue fairy is supposed to turn Pinocchio into a real boy. But at the end, and I'm sure everyone has seen this, because I watched it to see if it was all right. At the end, as they were first they were inside the whale and they managed to get out of there and they went straight to a cave and when they go to walk out of the cave, Pinocchio's holding Geppetto's hand, and as they're walking towards the entrance of the cave, Pinocchio's transforming into a real boy. That is not how Pinocchio becomes a real boy. It's the blue fairy. Because Pinocchio does a good deed, the blue fairy turns him into a real boy. But they changed it. There's also been live action movie of Aladdin. Remember that? Everything was fine until the ending. They changed the ending to that and end up instead of the genie being free and going off and doing what he wants to do, they turned around and made it so that, oh, the genie was actually human. So when Aladdin makes a wish and has those bracelet things on that are on the genie's wrist come off, he turns back. He turns into a human. The genie was never a human. The genie was supposed to be set free, but of course they changed that. And of course, the word I said before, which should be just gone, which is the word woke, and that is a word that has affected a lot of movies. Um, enough is enough with this business of making remakes. They use old material and make it new. This is to the ones that leap before they look. Firstly, you need to stop using old material and making it new. What you should do, and as I said, this is to the ones that always make these mistakes, and excluding Disney, they made a huge mistake and lost millions of dollars. Make sequels. You know what happened years later. Also, there's been Disney characters made into horror movies by these dipsticks, these idiots, who should be sued. They should get in trouble. But of course, no. Disney lets them go ahead with it. You've got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now they're making a sequel. I don't know why they want to make a sequel. And it's got Tigger, who's out to kill people. Seriously. Then you've got a horror movie of Bambi. A horror movie of, oh, The Grinch. And now they want to make a horror movie of Willy Wonka. Remember, we've heard about what happened in one of the countries where it's supposed to give everyone the Wonka experience, but when people paid money, but when they got there, it was a scam. So now you've got these idiots that want to make a horror movie of it. Seriously. What? Willy Wonka going out and killing people and what? Mixing it, kills people and mix them up in the chocolate. Really? Seriously? This is to what I say. This is to the ones that are a pack of idiots. Stop making horror movies. Stop turning these characters into horror characters. Nobody wants to see that crap. And the ones that use old material and make them new, make sequels for crying out bloody loud. Make sequels. Don't turn around and go, oh, let's make our own version or something of that movie. You know, to make movie Dune, you could have made a sequel. Probably would have done better, but seriously. Now we've all seen that classic movie, the trilogy of Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3. All the actors, actresses, crew, they all did an exceptional job. Damn good job. I mean, they're all all favourite actors. One of my favourite actors is Michael J. Fox, who is one of the most extraordinary actors. He's an amazing person, and as we all know, he's been going through a hard time. With Parkinson. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. I do apologise. But he's one of the most fantastic actors. I've seen him in movies like Secret of My Success. There's been Cho, Family Ties. So Back to the Future. Never make these. Never make a remake of it. It's a classic movie that we've all seen and we all love watching it. Watching those movies. Now, the reason why I mentioned Michael J. Fox is if I was able to interview him, that would be fantastic. I would mention that I have a YouTube channel, and after the interview, I would say, would it is it all right if I put the video or podcast up on my channel? If he didn't want me to, then I wouldn't. In respect to Michael J. Fox, I wouldn't put it on my channel unless it was okay with him. But I guess that will never happen. But if it did, I would ask questions how how is he, coping, all his, with the movies and Back to the Future and, you know, the TV show. Um, but I'd also make sure that he was right, if he needed to um, go, I'd be fine with that. Um, but I guess I would probably never be able to interview him at all. Um, so I hope that he is able to get better. But I know what, because what he's going through. It probably won't never get better, which is a shame, because he's one of the most lovely um, people. He's an amazing actor, and when I said before, Parkinson, if I've got that wrong, I do apologise. So, but I like I have favourite actors, but one of my favourite actors, as I said, Michael J. Fox, extraordinary actor. He's in his movies and TV shows. He's absolutely amazing. Um, he was just right for the part for Back to the Future. I know when they first did the few scenes with Eric Stoltz. I've got that right. If I say his surname wrong, I apologise. Um, but I don't know what happened there. Because they ended up with their change and they got Michael J. Fox. But I guess actors sometimes, when they go for a part in a movie, they might not be the right one to play that character. Um, and there's, we always need an actor that's just right for that part. Um, so, as I said, it'd be really cool to be able to interview such an amazing actor, Michael J. Fox. Um, but I guess that never happened. Wouldn't happen for me. But anyway, um, I would really love to be able to interview him, ask him the questions uh, about movies and that, and how he's coping and 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 that. But I guess that never happened. So anyway, I'm going to go now. Um, so yeah. Um, anyway, this is DB signing off, and as we go out, take care, everyone. And bye for now.